profiled case. And one, I will say this. You would think that the judge would have more information than we do, right? Right? I mean, especially to make that kind of decision. Maybe they are privy to things that we don't know of. But just in this is America. I mean, if you take away a lot of other things, you should be free to make your own mistakes. Like when you think of conservatorships, you think of elderly people with dementia, like people that are losing their mind, that can't function. Brittany made some crazy decision. I heard somebody say, well, she's putting a lot of crazy stuff on Instagram. And I'm thinking, man, if we took the personal rights and responsibility from people for making stupid comments on Instagram and Twitter, there would not be enough people to have a conservation or have a whatever they call that, power of attorney of. And maybe she is crazy. Maybe she will make terrible mistakes. Maybe she is susceptible of getting ripped off. But I'll tell you what, right now, she's getting ripped off by her dad if her stories are true. Like, I don't want her to be susceptible to get ripped off by these promoters. Well, she's getting ripped off by her dad because she's working her tail off and she's not really seeing those gains. She says she wants to have a baby and she can't because she's not even in control of her own body. She can't. Yeah. And to me, I would think liberals that are big time pushing it's my body, it's my decision would be all over that if that was the only thing that came out of this story.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
They are. I think that's what we're seeing now, the whole, culture of if there's something going on that seems like it's not fair, everybody's jumping in. And I think there's a lot of pressure on that whole situation. And, like I said, or like you said, we don't know all the details. The judge probably does know more than we actually know. More than I know for sure. All I've just heard is the,
Free Britney people,
the big picture. Yeah.
But so, I would say it should be, it is in a lot of instances really hard to get one of these power of attorneys on somebody. It should be easier to get them off than to put them on, in my opinion. I think if a person, especially a young person, if they are proving that they've made strides, and you would think it would be something temporary. I mean, yes, she was going crazy at one time. I think she tried to. There was a suicide attempt or something like that at one point, and that's when
that was during the post shave head
bald Britney. That was bald Britney.
Going on. Yeah.
Bald Britney, and then there was MTV Britney that looked terrible on the award show. And listen, she had problems. I mean, we saw those things. She had problems. She was driving on the highway with one of her kids in her lap. Listen, the girl had issues and problems, but this is America, man. It's supposed to be the land of the free.
Yeah, redemption.
Yeah.
And you said, she's built now, so she's obviously on the right track in some ways.
Yeah, and maybe she is crazy. I mean, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. But maybe there are some mental hangups in her life. But to not be able to be responsible for your own decisions when you can work, when they're making you work, and basically you have to go earn this money, but you can't spend it the way you want to me is just really weird. When it comes to like a person with dementia, usually they have money and you don't want them to waste the money they have. Usually they don't go out and get a job and make more money and you tell them how the way to spend it. I think that's a weird deal.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there that I don't know about. Yeah. So, but that's, obviously that's been a huge thing.
Yeah, big
recently.
Story. Yeah. So I'm on Team Free Britney.
Yeah. I think I am too, just with my perspective. So hopefully that's right. But
and she held my kid, man. So, and she was super nice to us. So I'm Team Britney till I die.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you never mentioned to everyone how I kind of consider myself one of like the co-creators of this podcast at the table.
Yeah, I mean, I had the podcast going before you brought the table, but I would say you could probably be like some kind of producer. You produced the table, although you scratched it. It is scratched. Yeah. The tall guy. The lady said the tall guy scratched it. So, and you were the tallest guy.
For those of you that don't know, Derrick bought a table for the podcast, and he had me go pick it up because I drive a pickup. And while I was
and you were in the
up,
same city that the table was.
I was in the same city, so it was convenient. While I'm picking it up, the lady we're purchasing this table from sends him a little sidebar text message saying, "I think the big guy scratched the table," because there was two of us there, one much smaller. So.
The other one was on this podcast. This is Levi's first time. The other one was on the podcast before.
Well, you just started having fan callers, so feel honored.
Yeah.
But someday I'll be at that level. But anyway, another thing, the track athlete, the Olympics are coming up. I don't remember her name, but
Shay. What is her name? But yes, I know the story that you're talking about. The young lady that runs the 100, right? And she's like incredibly fast yeah.
Yeah. Sha'Carri.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
That right?
I think that's as close as we're going to get.
Yeah, it's a shame because the Olympic Committee internationally has so many of these rules that have been fluctuating throughout the years, and she just so happens to land on the bad side of it.
Yeah.
And it's sad though, but I'm excited for the Olympics. And
I would love to say you and me both, but you are excited about the Olympics. I just don't get as amped up about the Olympics, man. It used to be something that I really used to cherish and really get excited about. In her particular case, I'll say this. We live in a different time than we used to when it comes to marijuana. But I also understand, like, this is a rule, an Olympic. I'm bummed for her. I hate it for her because she's a fast runner, and I'm impressed by her. I think she would have been a lot of fun at the Olympics. At the same time, rules are rules. Whether our culture has changed, if there's a rule that hasn't changed in the particular sport, you can work for a certain company, and though maybe marijuana, for instance, is legal in the city that you live in. But in that company says this is certain rules that you have to abide by. You can't do this.
Yeah.
Then you got to follow the rules. Although I understand that she was having a rough time learning that her biological mother had died, and that is a bummer, man. Especially with the way that our culture and things are changing. I personally, I am against any kind of drug violation. It is something that I do not believe in, but on a libertarian level, I think the criminalization that we have done of marijuana is wrong, in my opinion. We have put too many people in jail for these minor violations, and we've targeted even groups of people with it. When marijuana consumption is less dangerous than alcohol consumption, and in her particular sport, this is just Derrick talking, I don't see how marijuana usage gives her any kind of advantage over another athlete. I would think it would give her a disadvantage, actually, over other athletes. One, because I would assume that it would hurt your your lung capacity. I would think that would hurt. And also, I would think that it would make you a little bit less or a little bit more lethargic in running. So I don't see how it can be of advantage in that regard. I would think steroids would probably be something that's a lot more, giving you an advantage. And so anyway, I hate it for her, but the big thing, and she owned up to it. Rules are rules, even if we don't like them. They are rules.
Yeah, and she owned it.
Yeah, she did.
She was on Good Morning America,
Today Show,
one of those, and she owned it. It was pretty awesome to see. She was pretty gracious. You should have her on the show.
I think we've been trying to reach out to her publicist.
Okay.
Yeah. She doesn't know the power of this show yet.
Yeah, if you need me to reach out. No, I had, I was supposed to be there. I had tickets.
To where?
To the Olympic trials. I had tickets.
Why didn't you go?
And well, COVID happened. They refunded all the tickets and just sold a select few.
Wow. So let's talk about this. We're going to go on a break in just a minute, but you're excited about the Olympics. Tell me why. Levi. If you don't know this about Levi, Levi is probably got like 3% body fat. He's incredibly athletic. He was a great athlete in high school. I got to watch him play sports, and I've played him in basketball games and so forth. He's a great athlete. You ran track. You were a pole vaulter, right?
No, my brother.
Your brother was the pole vaulter. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you? High jumper? What did you do?
Yeah,
You did something when you were jumping.
That's correct.
Yeah. So why are you so excited about track
and
field?
I jumped, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Man, every time I watch something, especially growing up, you sit there with your family members. We never had cable till I was much older. So growing up, NBC, you're watching the Olympics in the summer.
Yeah.
And everything I watch, whether it's a movie, sports, whatever, I'm inspired to
do it.
Take that on. Yeah, I watch Mighty Ducks. I'm a hockey player. I watch, so many times when you're younger, you're watching the Olympics and these people walking around the stadium and just waving the American flag and the pride that goes into that. That just moves me. And when you think of all these people, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, just, unbelievable things are happening, and it's happening in your lifetime. Things that you couldn't even dream of, and it all happens in this window of summer that is just this magical place that the whole world's watching. And man, nothing better.
Well, maybe you sold me on the Olympics. I don't know. I maybe I'll give it a try again. We'll see. Hey, we'll be back. Levi Reese is joining us. We're just talking about modern day things that are going on right now, and we're doing it here on Grace Talk. Hey, this is Derrick. I'm the host of Grace Talks, and that's just what it is. It's a conversation. It's talking to people that I admire, people that are doing things in our society to make the world a better place. Not only is it a conversation, but we also talk about worldview issues such as politics and where Christians should stand in certain issues and such. I'm very excited about an upcoming interview with Golan Lindsay. He is the COO of Christ for the Nations. He comes from a long legacy of people who have followed and helped change and transform the world, and he has a great testimony and story, and I'd love for you to join us. You can go back and listen to any of the podcasts. They're available anywhere that podcasts are available. Come join us, like, follow, review, all that good stuff. We'd love to have you at Grace Talks. Grace Talks. We're back. Levi Reese has been joining us, and we've been talking about modern day things, not just modern day, but like what's going on right now. We've been in sports mainly, but we've talked about college athletes. We've talked about Britney Spears, and I'm sure we'll talk about some other things as well. But you had one more on the Olympics?
Yeah, hot topic right now. Everybody's buzzing about it, whatever side of the fence you're on. Gwen Berry has been a popular name being thrown around, which was the hammer thrower at the Olympic trials, who placed third, and during the national anthem chose not to necessarily participate, I guess you could say. She was standing there, but there's been a lot of mixed emotions, and wonder what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I'm a big Second Amendment person. You have the right to express yourself, period, no doubt about it. And I'm a huge freedom of expression person, so I don't want to take that away from anybody. They have the right to do that. But at the same time, I also feel like this to me is a little bit different, and the reason it's a little bit different is one,